right, my name is Elliot Hill. I am a senior IT technician based out of the Raleigh, NC headquarters, and now will be my third year permanent in June coming up. I was in the USMC and I served from 2002 to 2007. But to be honest, I reached my to do, I reached the end of my to do list from high school where you theoretically put down what are you going to try to accomplish after high school as far as going to college and stuff like that. And the military was on the very bottom of my list, and I worked my way down to the bottom of the list. And I was initially trying to go into the Air Force, but the recruiters were never in place when they would set appointments. And I ran into a Sergeant Johnson that was from the Marine Corps recruiting station. And all the recruiting stations were side by side, like one plaza, all the branches were right there. And I actually had ran into him my senior year of high school career day. And I told him about some of my family members that served in the Marine Corps. And he just took my name and phone number down on career day. And he didn't try to recruit me or anything. Just took my number and name and number down. And when I seen him a year later when I was trying to get into the Air Force, and he remembered me just from that one casual conversation, and he still had my name and number and everything wrote down. So at that point, I got kind of inspired to see what the Marine Corps was about, and because I wanted to work with electronics, I always thought only the Air Force worked with electronics, and everybody else was just for fighting, or the Navy just for the boats and stuff. But I didn't realize that just about all the branches have similar jobs that you could do while you're serving. And in the Marine Corps, those jobs are called MOSs. So I didn't know they had electronic repair type jobs and stuff that we could do. So that intrigued me a little bit more, knowing that all the branches kind of do some of the same stuff as far as electronic repair type skill sets. And that's pretty much got me into the Marine Corps then. When I EAS, which is the end of active service, I was a corporal and I was an E4, but I was no longer working with ground to that extent that I started. I was pretty much a hazmat certified site supervisor responsible for all the different lithium batteries that the comm equipment used. And I had to know how to properly store and dispose of the batteries within the procedures for the Marine Corps. And I didn't realize we had used that many different types of lithium batteries for our equipment, and it was actually certain types that you couldn't even store beside each other because somehow they react by either the fumes or just being in close proximity, and they could have dangerous releases of toxins or actually explode. So that was pretty neat in learning that aspect of the other side of my MOS, so to speak. Even though I wasn't fixing comm equipment no more, I was responsible for the batteries that powered the comm equipment. I came on November 2020 as a contractor to work with the Windows 7 to Windows 10 upgrade project. And after that was over, I was asked to continue my contract on the help desk. So I gladly did, and I was on the BMC side before the merger. A merger already happened, but before the merger of everything, still had two separate help desks at that time. I had the BFS side and the BMC side. And working on the BMC side, I had to learn how to do the processes that the companies had, because I've already done previous help desk work. So I was well versed on the customer facing side of it. I just needed to learn the software and the procedures that the BMC side used for their apps, and even just with Microsoft in general. So after that, both of the desks emerged, and it was all BFS going forward. But the main skills I learned were working in a Microsoft Exchange server, and now I work in the Microsoft endpoint engineering with the endpoint engineering team for device management. The easiest one is the equipment disposal process, because I'm used to doing that just from dealing with the batteries from my time in the Marine Corps. So the IT equipment disposal process. Of course, it's different types of equipment, but it's just I'm used to that procedure of having stuff staged and taken out of the system, ready to be sent to Cramden, which is located out of Durham, North Carolina. So I can actually have them come to the office and pick up our equipment. I have everything listed in ServiceNow, as well as taken out of endpoint, so that our image isn't still inside of the computer if there any of the equipment that Cramden deems that they can continue to use for less fortunate people, because that's kind of their role that they do. They dispose of equipment, and if equipment is still usable for less fortunate people, they have computers and stuff that they can use. And also in the Marine Corps, you have to learn how to do everything around you. So I've already been so used to that my current role now lets me do a lot of different things. So one moment I'll open a computer, the next I'm reaching out to a VIP to see if they need assistance with anything. I'm doing orientation for the company when people first come and get their equipment, to make sure they're comfortable using it, know how to access all the sites and stuff they will use. I necessarily help them use the software. I just make sure you can get to it and be ready to work. And also, I just have maintained desktop support for the Raleigh office. I'm usually the first. I'm definitely the first line when something goes wrong before anybody reaches out to the help desk, and I definitely enjoy that responsibility. The main thing I would tell them is to have a plan before transitioning. Please have a plan, because I didn't have a plan, and I was just working to work until I realized that I can turn my hobby, which was electronics and computers, into a career. And so the only thing I regret is that I didn't get into the IT career field sooner. So I always tell any vets that are ready, they either are going to get out or they're thinking about getting out, to just make sure you have a plan when you transition.